Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week in Writing 122Z Online, Argumentative Writing. My name's Marky. I'm your instructor, and I have a few things to talk to you about this week for our week 2 walkthrough video. And I have two videos for you. This is going to be our first one where I talk to you about database searching, how to use the OIT library resources. And then I have a second video that talks about APA formatting. So that one is also under week 2 on Canvas. But I have up here just some goals for this week to kind of set the stage for where we're at currently. So the second week of this class, we have some current goals, and they are to familiarize yourself with database searching. And that's using the OIT's library databases, which I will go over with you, but also using some other online databases like Google Scholar and how using those can help you find your sources this term. And then you're going to be using that knowledge to find the source that you want to use for the rhetorical précis. So the précis is that first writing assignment where I talked about it in week 1, and the prompt is on Canvas already if you want to review that. But the rhetorical précis is our first writing project, and it does require one scholarly source. And then, like I mentioned, the last thing I'll talk to you about this week is reviewing APA formatting. That's going to be in a separate video, but APA is the citation style we use in this class and a lot of other communication classes at OIT. So you'll want to review that video and any other online resources that you normally like to look at for citation help. But let's get started. We're going to start with doing a quick walkthrough for the library databases. So like I mentioned, our class requires you to find scholarly sources, peer-reviewed sources, and what that means is finding those sources on a research database. And through OIT, what I do to get here is I just Google OIT library and it brings you to the library homepage. This is this page here. And what we're going to focus on today is electronic resources. So it's this link in the middle, electronic resources, and it will redirect you to this page that says A through Z databases. And here is where you can find every single database that OIT gives you access to as a student. You have access to databases that the average person doesn't. So as a student, as a school, we subscribe to a lot of research databases. These cost the library money, but you as a student benefit from those subscriptions, and you can find research that, again, the average person can't find just on the open internet. So we have 92 databases at OIT. The one that I'm going to focus on with you today is Academic Search Complete. That's this top link here. It's the featured database. It's the most popular one because it's good for general research. Pretty much any topic that you want to research, you can find sources here. But I do want to mention you can go subject specific as well. So let's say your research this term ends up being, let's see, related to natural sciences in some way. If you click search, it'll let you know what are the best bets for databases regarding natural sciences. So where could you find a lot of good sources? It's recommending Agricola and some other ones here that we have access to. Agricola is pretty popular. But anyway, it kind of depends on what your topic is that you want to research this term. I recommend just going to the homepage though and using Academic Search Complete. We're going to go back there. That's just the general database. That's where we're going to start. So we're going to click on Academic Search Complete. It will redirect you to the research database. And here's the structure of this database. It has 3 search bars at the top. And we're going to be doing an activity during week 2 to help you practice this. But this is where you're going to use your search terms. So let's say we're researching electric vehicles. You can customize this search and add some more words down here. We're only going to start with one just so you can kind of see how research databases work in terms of sources they give you. But we're going to click search. And you can see a ton of results. So 42,000, which is a lot. So I would recommend narrowing this down a little bit more. So if we're thinking about electric vehicles, what about them? Maybe cost could help us narrow it down. Let's search that. And that narrows it down a lot more to about 8,000. I think this is still a little bit too broad for where we're currently at. But anyway, you can work on narrowing your search a little bit more. But when you're in the search here, this is your search results page, you can see they're all numbered. And the way that it works is, let's say we want to use this second one, Distributed Drive Electric Vehicle Handling Stability Coordination Control Framework. We're going to click on it. That's the title. And then the way that this database is structured is over here on the left, you have the PDF, the HTML, or you can find it in other places at OIT, but we have access to it, so all you need to do is click on the PDF. And the other good thing about databases is they will cite your sources for you. So APA is the citation style we use. If you click on Cite over here on the right, and you scroll down to APA 7th edition, this is what you'd want to put in a reference page at the end of a paper, or for the précis, you need this also above the source you choose. So it's really helpful. But this is the structure of a research database. So the main thing you want to look for is, do you have access to a PDF? And if you don't have access to that, you can use the Find It at OIT button right here, and the library will help you find this source if we don't have access to it personally. So that's a little bit about how this Academic Search Complete database works. It's more of a general database, but our activity for week 2 will hopefully get you a little bit more familiarized with the structure of it. I'm going to switch over to Google Scholar, which is another really popular research database that anyone has access to just on the internet. But something I want to point out here is up here on the left-hand corner, you're going to click on Settings. You're going to go to Library Links, and you're going to type in Oregon Tech, click Search, and you'll notice right here, OIT pops up. You're going to click that little box, Save. And now any search that you do on Google Scholar is going to draw from resources from our library as well. So like I mentioned earlier, you as a student, you have more access to resources in our library than the average person does who's just using Google Scholar. So we're going to do the same thing here. You can kind of see some of my previous searches from one of the activities we're going to be doing, but we're going to use electric vehicles again. We're just going to click Search. And we're going to use this top one just as an example, but you'll notice similar to just a Google search, the formatting is really similar here. But now over here on the right, we have a Find It at OIT button because you've linked OIT to Google Scholar. So for some reason, if the internet is not giving you access to this source, the OIT library most likely will. So we're going to click on this one, a review of electric vehicles, technologies, and challenges. We can see here, it looks a little different than Academic Search Complete because this is just out on the internet, right? So let's see if we can find this article. Here's a download button, and there's the PDF. So you can kind of look around for where you can find these things online. And my recommendation for Google Scholar, they will also cite for you as well. So I'll show you where to find that in just a second. So we're back on the search results page. This is that same article, and you'll notice right here it says Cite. Click on Cite, APA, there it is. The only thing that this is missing, you'll want to double check, is it is missing a DOI or a hyperlink at the end. Because this is an electronic source, you would want to include the link for where you found it. But databases, super helpful for helping you cite things, and super helpful just in general for finding credible research. So we are going to be using Academic Search Complete and Google Scholar in the activity for this week. Use this video as a tool if you'd like to look back on how to use them, but I hope that the activity will help you get a little bit more familiar with the formatting of these websites too. So I hope that library database searching walkthrough was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions when you're working on the activities for week 2, especially with database researching. But in our next video, I am actually going to talk a little bit more about formulating a strong research question for this class. And then there is a separate video on APA as well. But please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.